that too much? No, get it, girl. Bestie therapy.
Hey, welcome to Bestie Therapy, where we talk about the therapy going on in all of our lives. I'm Persephone, and I'm Riles. Get ready to spill the tea. Ooh. So, hey guys, this is a split episode. I'm in my car right now. I just got out of work. It is 10:16 at night. Me and Per have been so busy, and I'm sure she's going to say this in her part of the episode. We have been so busy. We just had a water crisis, in Lake Orion, Auburn Hills area. Luckily, I was not affected, but I did know people who were, and they were troopers for really getting through that because, it was not a fun sight. The main water, there was like a main water leak in the city. So it broke. It might not have even been like a leak. It was like it broke, like something went wrong. So yeah, they were out of water for a while. So whoever just endured that, kudos. We really take water for granted. Don't do that anymore. It is a gift. So, I hope everyone is doing really, really well. Life updates. I've just been rehearsing. I am almost done with this featured length film movie that I'm writing, directing with my friend Destiny. We have like a goal to film this, in the next few months, but I love to write and write. So, if I can stop writing, we'll see. Me and Lucas, yesterday we were going over our fly on the wall film, which is going to be really, really cool. Very trippy. It's going to be one of those movies where you might have to watch it a couple times to really understand it. It's going to be cool though. The concept is there. We just have some more fine tuning to do, before we can actually release that. So I'll let you know. Listen to Angelic, everyone. It's been like a year. On April 20th. I can't remember if I said that or not, but happy 1 year. And I'm still writing projects that I cannot say yet. But it will be really, really cool when it's ready to be announced. But we won't get there yet. So those are life updates for me. Work, rehearsing, and working on projects. So today's topic is about solitude, the good and the bad. I think it's something that we all kind of need to experience because, I think it's important to have the solitude to kind of like hear your own voice almost, when you have so many people telling you what you need to do, what you need to be, blah, 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 who you need to trust, who you don't trust. There can be so many like voices that are influencing you, and once you actually kind of sit in that solitude for a little bit, you kind of understand is not the right word, but you kind of have to think about what is important to you, what do you want with your life, who do you want in your life, what characteristics, who do you want to be, and you can't do that when you're constantly around people who are telling you their opinions and, oh, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Blah, 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 blah. I think solitude is very important. Like I said, there's some good and some bad. Let's start with the good. For me, I will draw from personal experience. When I was in solitude, when I was kind of forced to be on my own, I actually had to have the solitude to bring back my mental health a little bit. I was, kind of mixed up is not the right words, but I was not compatible with some people that I was once compatible with, and it was really, really hard. And this wasn't just friends. I mean, it was friends, just a bunch of people. I'm not going to get into that very much. I think I've gotten into it before and we don't need to hear it again. But I was kind of driving myself mad because I could not understand the idea that anyone could dislike me. I always strove to have everybody that I knew like me. And I am not a perfect person, okay? I'm going to put that right there. I tried to be perfect. I wasn't. And I definitely have like flaws that I didn't realize about myself until I started living with people. And I look back at it now and I go, oh yeah, that's difficult. But once again, it was because I sat by myself and was going, what am I doing wrong? What's happening? And sometimes it wasn't me. But sometimes it was. And I had to actually think to myself and actually have conversations, in my own mind, kind of like, not in a weird way, guys, not in a weird way. But you kind of have those thoughts going, okay, how can I make myself better? What am I doing to make these people upset? And how can I fix it? And if there isn't anything I can do to fix it, what can I do in the future to avoid this and make it better? Once again, those were the scenarios of where I was actually the problem. Not all of the time I was. And even then, sometimes, even if you are the problem, sometimes you don't have the opportunity to confront the issue with the people that it was kind of going on with. I was not grateful. There were times where I got to confront the issue, but it was, like I said, it was more with myself. I didn't really have much of a chance to, confront some of the issues with some of the other people that I was having issues with. And when I did, I handled it really bad. But, it is what it is. I wouldn't know what I know today if I didn't actually take some time for myself. I think therapy is very good. Therapy is good. But if you can't do therapy, you definitely need to sit with yourself and ask yourself important questions. I guess some downsides is if you have issues with being alone in general, sometimes, the negativity can be loud. Sometimes it can be painful. And sometimes it feels like you're slamming yourself against a wall. Why me? Why this? Why blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it's good to have someone there to kind of like be that guardian angel almost, to tell you, hey, like, no, do not think this way about yourself. Do not think that you're a failure. Do not think that you are not, that you're not succeeding. And if you're not succeeding, let's find out ways that we can, help you succeed. And sometimes you need that voice. Sometimes solitude isn't always the answer, especially when you really are depressed. Sometimes being alone is not the solution. It can be, but it really depends. I think, like I said before, everyone needs solitude, but it's not always the solution. I remember when I was in my depressive era, it was the people who helped me out of, my room, going, all right, let's go do something. Let's actually have some fun. Persephone was a big one for me. I always will remember when she would come over and she would just know by the sound of my voice on the phone how I was doing. And I'm very grateful. She really did just drop everything and said, okay, I'm coming to be with you. And because there was a period of my life where I was alone like every single day, and where some of those days were really good, some of those days were really bad too. And it was the people who I could really count on who really helped me out with that one, because you can't always do life alone. And that's something that I'm kind of learning, because I had a lot of solitude time a few years ago. I had the mindset of I have to do this alone and no one else can help me with this. I have to do it alone. And I still have some of that mindset today where it's like, nope, I need to figure this out by myself. And if I ask anyone else, then I'm just a failure and I don't know what I'm doing. And that's not always true. Sometimes you hear or see things that you would not have actually understood or comprehended in your own brain if someone else did not say it to you first and helped you with it. I know there's some creative ideas like my angelic album. If I did that by myself, the album would sound completely different. It was my uncle who was like, hey, let's try some of this. Let's try this. And I got to be like, oh, and what about this? And what about that? And we did like collaborative work. And if I was alone, the album would not have been as good. I mean, in my opinion, I would not have been as proud of it if I did it by myself. I'm very proud of how that turned out because I had help, because I had someone saying, here, I like this. Let's redirect it and let's try this instead. And let's see if we like it. And if we don't, we'll try something else. It was very needed. It was really, really cool. And I'm starting to realize now, like, since I put like a lot of pressure on myself, I still have those solitude moments. And it's not because I'm like, oh, I need it. It's like, no, I'm just busy doing stuff. Like I said, right now I'm in my car doing this episode. Sometimes the stillness and the quiet is needed. Rest should not be earned. And I am saying this and I need to listen to this. I've had people tell me this all the time. Rest is not something to be earned. It is something that we all need. And I still will be completely honest, have not wrapped my head around that concept yet. But it's okay. I will get there. And when I do, things will be great. I don't know. I don't remember what I was going on about with that, but, so being like with people I've learned recently, like, you don't have to do things by yourself, and it kind of takes a lot of pressure off of you. You can ask people for help. You can ask someone for guidance. You can ask someone a simple question. Hey, I'm thinking of this idea. Do you think this is plausible? Not everything has to be done up in your head, because solitude is also in your brain too. Sometimes, at least for me, sometimes my brain is thinking about 2 different things at once or 3 different things at once. I have to be like, no, okay, calm down. All right, take the pressure off. You're not running out of time. You're not, counting sheep, watching it jump over the fence and running away. It's not leaving you. You have time. And I think that's something I learned in solitude as well, is like, the world is your oyster. What do you want to say? What do you want to portray in this world? And then once you actually ask those questions, you can go to people. I think there needs to be a balance of solitude and not solitude, because if you have too much solitude, you'll just run yourself mad. But if you don't have any solitude at all, then there's going to be too many opinions weighing on your shoulder. You need to have that healthy balance, and you need to know how to understand how to do it healthily. I'm still figuring that out. So I can't be like, I don't know. I can't tell you what that looks like. That's going to look different for everyone else. But at the end of the day, you get to decide what you're comfortable with. And it's always good to push yourself outside of your comfort zone as well. In solitude, you can ask, what is the comfort zone? And then once you're ready to break free, you push yourself out of solitude and you go, okay, I'm going to try this now. And that can be whatever you want it to be. And yeah, I know I feel like I'm rambling on. I hope some of this is making sense, because life can be very difficult, and sometimes trying to figure it out is stressful, especially with how things are going right now. Like, everything is up in the air, everything is questionable, and we got to have each other's backs here, but you got to hear your voice too. You can't just listen to everyone else. You got to listen to you, and you can't do that if you don't take time with yourself. You have to take time with yourself, by yourself. Even if that's just for like an hour a day, or it could be an entire week or a year. I mean, it will look different for everyone, but there's definitely pros and cons to both of it. So those are my 2 cents. Hopefully some of that made sense. I really hope it did. If you have questions, you can always email us at bestietherapy@gmail.com. And yeah, I really hope you guys have a great rest of your week into the weekend, and that you just stay true to you and you keep doing the darn thing. You keep doing what you need to do. Okay? Keep doing what you need to do, guys. Take some time for yourself. Oh, go on a date with yourself. Have we said this before? Go on a date with yourself. Solitude does not always have to mean that you are in your bedroom, just sleeping, okay? Like, solitude is pretty much, for me, it's like you are with yourself. And I take myself to the movies by myself quite often. $5 movie days. It's pretty great. I'm telling you, it is. I saw Hail Mary by myself before I saw it with my friend. I watched that thing by myself and I thought it was wonderful. And, yeah, you just kind of got to do it. Not saying it has to be a movie, but like get yourself food or go to a coffee shop, people watch. I don't know. Take a little slice of life action in your own. You gotta, observe the quiet solitude. You can learn a lot about yourself. You can morph into a beautiful butterfly if you really like it. You're like a cocoon, you're a little caterpillar. You're like tired and like hungry and oh my goodness, I'm eating. And then, I get so full and I'm growing. And then you cocoon yourself. You cocoon. I'm going cocoon. You cocoon yourself and it's painful and it's slow and it's not fun. And then when you break out of the cocoon, you soar and fly. So the cocoon phase is very important. That's where a lot of self-work is done. It's where a lot of pain and suffering happen, but do you know what? You grow beautiful from it. So I will leave it at that. Persephone, take it away, queen.
Hi everyone, it's me, Persephone. So yes, this week me and Riley are doing a split episode just because our schedules honestly just didn't really align this week because we're just both doing a lot of things. I had some I guess the place where I work had to close because of the water main break, so they had to send me to different locations. So I was just trying to get through that. And then Riley, obviously, she's in shows and she has working on a lot of other stuff and activities. So and work. So we just decided to do an audio recording episode, a split episode this year. Oh my gosh, this week. But yeah, so sorry that no new episode was posted last week, but we did post a little vlog because we had a little night drive because with our friend Steph, and we were very excited to do that, and it was like spur in a moment vlog, and it was just really fun. So if you guys do want to check it out, it is on our YouTube. But yeah. So first let's get into life updates and then we'll get to our topic. So I guess life update for me, I don't know if I said this last week. If I did, I am so sorry. Wait, no, there was no episode last week. So, but I officially moved into a new house with my friends, and we are roommates, and I have roommates, which is so weird because for so long, I think for 4 or 5 years, past college, I've lived alone. Since I graduated college, I've lived alone, and I think living alone really taught me a lot about myself, but it also was kind of lonely, which we will, which kind of relates to our topic, but we'll get into that later. But I am glad to be moved in. I still have to unpack a lot of stuff. Seeing it is a little bit overwhelming, but I'm like, you know what? If I take it slow, maybe do a little bit each day, then we'll be good. What has happened in my life? That's the question. I feel like a lot of my life is what's going on today, day by day, handle this, that. I really don't know, but that it's so, I'm so in the moment kind of person, in my opinion, that I'm only focused on what's in front of me sometimes. So I think right now, life update is just me just like living with my friends and just learning how to be a good roommate and everything. So yeah. I'm really trying to think of anything, but there is no like. Oh, I'm going to a wedding on Sunday with my one friend, who we work together. So I'm a her plus one, so it's gonna be fun to just go to a wedding and just like vibe, chill, hang out, have fun, and party a little bit. So I'm happy about that. I'm so happy about that. Yeah, so that's life. Oh yeah, me and my roommates have been talking. We're probably gonna go to a few like Renaissance festivals this year. So I'm excited to do that. And then Pride is coming up, so I'm excited to go to Pride. But yeah, that's my life right now. But yeah, today our topic is basically Bestie, are we hermits? AKA Bestie. We're gonna talk about basically isolation and seclusion and just like being by yourself. And I mentioned earlier, but like I have done that for so long, for like the past 4 or 5 years, that now like living with other people, it's kind of different. Obviously it's going to be different, but it's just something to get used to, and not in a bad way. I think I'm getting used to I don't want to say sharing energy, but like being around other people's energy. And like the roommates I'm with, my friends, because we all met in college and we worked together and it was so much fun. But we like really just all got to know each other and got close in college and everything. And so when they asked me to move in, I was like, oh yeah, I love it. But it's just like getting used to having other people around, because I low key I was so not used to that. And then well, since our topic is isolation, like I think personally I am a, I guess, an extroverted introvert, where when I'm out and about or like with other people, like when I'm outside the house, I'm like a people person, like, oh my gosh, hi, I love you, blah blah blah. But when I'm alone or at home, I'm very much to myself. I feel like outside in the world, I'm like a golden retriever or like a dog. And then when I'm at home, I'm just like a little cat, like little black cat. It's just like, chilling in my own energy. And I feel like these past 2 years, I had to chill in my own energy just to like figure out who I am, but also just to accept who I am, and just to, I guess, find a peace within me. And I'm still trying to find that peace, but like trying to just be okay with 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 being by myself and being with me as a person. Cuz like I think it's easy for us to like really sometimes just not like who we are, so sometimes we have to learn to love who we are. So I think I really had to do that, but I I'm kind of glad I'm not in that isolation anymore, or not self isolating, because it is easy to self isolate, especially when you are not feeling well, like mentally, emotionally, or if you do have some sort of, I guess, I don't want to say like mental illness, but when you do have like a mental block that, or if you're going through something, it is easy to be alone and to seclude yourself. And I do like that to a certain extent. Like I do love being by myself, but I feel like I feel like it's easy for me to abuse it, because if my energy is a certain way, or if I'm not feeling a certain if I'm not feeling in my highest like vibration, then I do want to like be by myself and seclude myself, just so I don't bring other energy that to people that isn't the best, and just to figure out my own feelings. And I feel like these past 4 years, I was able to figure out my own feelings of who I am, and of like self-worth, and just like how I feel about certain things. Like it was nice to be by myself, but I think right now I'm ready to be around other people, because be I do want to grow relationships with friends, and and just learn how to be a social human being at home, if that makes sense, or just learn how to be a social human being in general. And if you know me, yes, I am social, but unfortunately, I do have a lot of anxiety, and that that does show up when I am around people. So I think so I'm glad I'm around other people right now, just so I can learn to not be anxious all the time, because I think that's just my go-to, I guess, psyche, or my go-to feeling, or my go-to emotion when I am around others. And I think it was just probably a learned habit, and like with growing up and stuff like that, it just became a habit. So I'm glad that spirit put me around other people now, so I can just learn to 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 get over this anxiety, but and learn how to be and learn how to be a better person, also grow as a better person, as a sociable person, as a friend to others. So yeah, I'm low-key really glad about that. I'm sorry, I really just lost my thought. But I think one thing I do want to talk about is the downsides of being alone and secluding yourself, because it can get really scary sometimes if you're not careful or mindful about it, or doing the right things you do need to do to grow. Because yes, there were times where when I was alone, I was very mindful and like trying to grow myself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and just working on myself. But I also think it's really easy to abuse it, where instead of working on yourself, you do try to I don't want to say, I think you do try to sabotage yourself. Not you do, but you can sometimes sabotage yourself, like do some self-sabotage sometimes by being alone. And that looks different for every person. But I think when I was not in the best place, like emotionally or mentally, I definitely secluded myself, and I think that did harm me negatively, because I just wanted to like not feel the pain, not be. I just didn't want to hurt, and I feel like if you're hurting and you're alone, that can sometimes be a recipe for disaster. So, hey, whoever, if you are self-isolating, and if you feel like that you need to be called to be by yourself, then be by yourself, because first of all, you're going to be by yourself, you're going to be with yourself for the rest of your life. So if you do have to be by yourself, learn to be by yourself, but learn to love yourself and love who you are as a person, love how to love yourself as a being just by you. Because I think a lot of times we look for love and validation from other people, but that love and validation should come from yourself first and foremost. So, so I guess as you can tell, I'm kind of a little bit nervous talking about this, because I self isolated to grow myself, but I did think I did it too much, and it kind of harmed me in a way, because when you are alone, sometimes dark thoughts happen, and a lot of, I guess for me, it was like a lot of self-worth, like negative self-worth thoughts were happening. And so if you are in a seclusion period, use that time to grow and heal yourself. But if you do feel yourself getting into a space that's dark and not good for your mind, then reach out to others, or go be around people. Do what you got to do to get out of that, but don't be alone, because sometimes being alone can be the worst things for you. And sometimes being alone can be scary. I How do I say this? It was when I was alone, living alone for those few years. At times it was scary, because I felt like I didn't really have anyone to rely on. And yes, I have my friends. I have Riley, I have Steph, I have people outside at my work and everything. But when you are alone, sometimes those scary thoughts are the loudest thoughts, or the loudest voices that you hear, instead of your friends' voices. So if you are in that dark space, please go and be around people, or call whoever you gotta call, because those thoughts are not true. It's just a lie that we are telling ourselves. So yeah, I know this was like weird to say, but this whole podcast is about healing who we are and talking about our problems and talking about how we can get better, and learning and growing to get better, and not just talking about it, but actually doing it and walking the walk. And I feel like right now I'm finally able to get out of that seclusion period of my life, because I as much as I do love my alone time, I don't think I want to be alone forever, or that I'm definitely not like socially, and like with, I don't want to be alone forever, like definitely like concerning friends. And I think like if I ever do decide to like be in a relationship, I do want to learn how to be with that person and grow together as a unit, as a couple, whatever it may be. So yeah, I just want to encourage you to honestly find your people, find your tribe, like do what you got to do in your own seclusion time to like grow and heal for yourself, but also find your people, find your tribe, and find community, because no one is ever meant to be alone. And I don't care how much you like being alone by yourself. Yes, that's great, but we all need people to rely on. We are a sociable, I guess, dang it, I lost my train of thought, but we are sociable beings is what I'm trying to say, and we need people. And studies even show that those old people who are alone usually, like, unfortunately die faster because they don't have a person with them. And I don't know about you, I'm not gonna assume, but for me personally, like, my spirit, my heart, my soul is filled with love when I am around other people, when I am filled around my people. So find your people is what I'm saying. Find your people who love you and truly care about you. And even here, these past 2 weeks that I've been here, I've seen that like my roommates truly do care about me. Even when sometimes those dark thoughts do come, like, oh, like, what, we're not going to get into it, but you matter. And if you are alone and you feel like you don't matter, that's a lie. I know it might feel like the truest thing ever, but guess what? Feelings come and go. Thoughts come and go. And if you really, really want to invest in someone or yourself, or just truly grow as a human being, be there for others. Be there for yourself, but also be there for others, because you will never know what you can do for another person just by being there, just by being their friend. So yeah. That's I'm trying to find out a good way to end this, but I'm awkward, so I don't think there's gonna be any cool, fun way to end it. But thank you guys for listening, and please if you are alone, grow, and once you grow, go out and find some friends. That's it. That's what I'm saying. But hey, I love you guys. Thank you guys for listening, and remember to embrace the rain and be the sunshine. Bye.